28th of September, Her Majesty went from Oxford to Rycote, where an old gentleman, sometimes a soldier, delivered this speech.
Vouchsafe, dread sovereign, after so many smooth speeches of muses, to hear a rough-hewn tale of a soldier. We use not with words to amplify our conceits, and to play faith by figures, but by deeds to show the loyalty of our hearts, and to make it good with our lives. I mean not to recount any service, or proceeding of duty, but to tell your Majesty that I am past all service, save only devotion. My horse, mine armour, my shield, my sword, the riches of a young soldier, and an old soldier's relics, I should here offer to your Highness, but my 4 boys have stolen them from me, vowing themselves to arms, and leaving me to my prayers. Fortune giveth success, fidelity, courage, chance cannot blemish faith, nor truth prevent destiny. Whatever happens, this is their resolution, and my desire, that their lives may be employed wholly in your service, and their deaths may be their vow's sacrifice. Their deaths, the rumour of which hath so often affrighted the crow, my wife, that her heart hath been as black as her feathers. I know not whether it be affection or fondness, but the crow thinketh her own birds the fairest, because to her there they are the dearest. What joys we both conceive, neither can express. Sufficeth they be, as your virtues, infinite. And although nothing be more unfit to lodge your Majesty than a crow's nest, yet it shall be most happy to us, that it is by your Highness made a phoenix nest. Qui color aeter erat nunc est contrarius atro. Vouchsafe this trifle, and with this my heart, the greatest gift I can offer, and the chiefest that I ought.
On Sunday, Her Majesty, going to the garden, received with sweet music of sundry sorts, the old gentleman meeting her, said thus.
Pardon, dread sovereign, the greatness of my presumption, who, having nothing to say, must follow still to wonder. But last, some news out of Ireland.
A letter delivered by an Irish lackey, in which was enclosed a dart of gold set with diamonds, and after the letter was read, delivered to Her Majesty with this motto in Irish: I fly only for my sovereign.
My duty humbly remembered. It is said the wind is unconstant. I am glad it is. Otherwise had I not heard that which I most wished and least looked for. The wind blowing stiffly in the west, on the sudden turned easterly, by which means I received letters that Her Majesty would be at Rycote. Nothing could happen to me more happy, unless it were myself to be there to do my duty. But I am a stranger in mine own country, and almost unknown to my best friends, only remembered by Her Majesty, whose late favours have made me more than fortunate. I should account my 10 years' absence a flat banishment, were I not honoured in Her Majesty's service, which hath bound all my affections prentices to patience. In all humility I desire this dart to be delivered, an Irish weapon, and this wish of an English heart, that in whose heart faith is not fastened, a dart may. I can scarce write for joy, and it is likely this lackey cannot speak for wondering. If he do not, this is all that I should say, that my life is my duty's bondman, duty my faith's sovereign.
The dart delivered, a skipper coming from Flanders delivered another letter with a key of gold, set with diamonds, with this motto in Dutch: I only open to you.
My duty remembered. The enemy of late hath made many bravadoes, even to the gates of Ostend, but the success was only a flourish. Myself, walking on the ramparts to oversee the sentinels, descried a pink, of whom I inquired where the court was. He said he knew not, but that the 28th September Her Majesty would be at Rycote. I was overjoyed, and in making haste to remember my duty, I had almost forgot it, for I was shipping myself for England with this skipper. But to come without leave might be to return without welcome. To signify that my heart is there, I most humbly entreat that this key may be presented. The key of Ostend, and Ostend the key of Flanders. The wards are made of true hearts. Treachery cannot counterfeit the key, nor treason herself pick the lock. None shall turn it, but who Her Majesty command, none can. For myself I can but wish all happiness to Her Highness under any occasion, that what my tongue delivers my blood may seal, the end of my service, that in her service my life may end.
The key delivered, a French page came with 3 other letters, the one written to the Lady Squemish, which, being mistaken by a wrong superscription, was read before Her Majesty. In the second was enclosed a sword of gold set with diamonds and rubies, with this motto in French, "Drawn only in your defence." In the third was enclosed a truncheon set with diamonds, with this motto in Spanish, "I do not command, but under you."
My duty to your ladyship remembered, etc. Being ready to take shipping, I heard that Her Majesty would honour Rycote with her presence, which wrought no small content, but to have made it full, I wished I might have seen it. In this place is no choice of anything whereby I might signify my dutiful affection, but that which a soldier maketh his chiefest choice, a sword, which most humbly I desire to have presented to Her Highness. With this protestation poured from my heart, that in her service I will spend the blood of my heart. Eloquence and I are vowed enemies, loyalty and I sworn brothers. What my words cannot effect, my sword shall. My duty humbly remembered. The same time that I received letters that Her Majesty would be at Rycote, the wind served for Bretagne. I was overjoyed with both, yet stood in a mammering whether I should take the opportunity of the wind, which I long expected, or ride post to do my duty, which I most desired. Necessity controlled affection, that bid me, unless I could keep the wind in a bag, to use the winds when they blow. I obeyed, yet wishing they would turn for a while, to serve my turn. Being unfurnished of all fit presents, I would have this excuse, that Cheapside is not in my ship, and therefore have nothing to offer but my truncheon, the honour of which I received of Her Majesty, by whom I am only to be commanded, and ever else let me be only miserable and ever.
These letters read, and the presents delivered, the old man, kneeling down, ended thus.
That my sons have remembered their duties, it is my heart's comfort that your Majesty accepteth them, their heart's heaven. If fortune and fidelity had been twins, they might have been as rich as faithful. But this is a jubilee of my life, that their faiths are without spots, and your Majesty, I hope, confident without suspicion. Among my joys there is one grief, that my daughter, the mistress of a molehill, hath so much forgotten that most she should remember duty. I doubt not her excuse, because she is a woman, but fear the truth of it, because it must be to her sovereign. For myself, my crow, and all our birds, this I promise, that they are all as faithful in their feathers as they were in their shells.
This being done, there was sweet music and 2 sonnets, which, ended, Her Majesty went in. On Monday morning, as Her Majesty was to take horse, a messenger coming out of Jersey, and bringing a daisy of gold set with rubies, delivered it to Her Majesty with this speech. At length, though very late, I am come from the Lady of the Mould Hill, sent long since, but the passage troublesome. At every mile's end a lover, at every sentence end a lie. I stayed to hear the conclusions, and found nut-brown girls to be cheapened, but none to be bought but the amiable. Thus, much for my excuse, now for my mistress, who, hearing that your Majesty would enter this cabin, was astonished with joy and doubt. Joy for so great honour done to her father, doubt by what means she might show her duty to your Majesty. At the last, sitting upon the top of a molehill, she espied a red daisy, the fairest flower that barren place doth yield, which with all humility she presents to your Majesty. It hath no sweetness, but many virtues, her heart no tongue, but infinite affections. In you, she saith, are all virtues, and towards you all her affections.